All right, let's welcome in right now Ian Begley. Does a great job covering the Knicks, the Nets, the NBA for SNY. Love the backdrop as well. Ian, great to see you.
What's happening, fellas? You guys were talking about the Pacers shooting at Moose. That's like you in pickup. They just went
Yeah, exactly. Nothing but that. That's exactly. That's going back to my college days at Syracuse. It's been a while. Let's talk a little bit about some of the topics going to enter this offseason, Ian, that you're going to be doing a ton of reporting on. Let's start with the head coach, Tom Thibodeau. Goes into next year. He's got 1 year left on his deal. On the priority list for Leon Rose, where does that fall of extending Tom Thibodeau's contract?
Well, I think just because there's no date to when those negotiations can start, like there's a date for free agency, there's a date for the draft, there's no date with this. So I think this would be the first order of business with Thibodeau because, you know, we all know the job that he's done, how well he's done it. And I think it's just a matter of finding a number, finding an amount of years, length and number that everybody's comfortable with. That extension should get done, you know, unless they're just totally unable to find common ground in the negotiation. They should get something done here. And I want to note too that one of the I guess factors for Thibodeau and how he was being evaluated this year was, you know, his relationship with the front office, his ability to get along with the front office, because, you know, that was an issue in Chicago. And from what I was told, everybody was really happy with how Thibodeau was interacting with the front office members, and, you know, it was a team effort. So, you know, there you go. On the court, off the court, he did his job, and he should get paid.
What do you think is going to happen here with Julius Randle? He's due for an extension and also could be a valuable trade piece if they look to upgrade.
Yeah, I think it depends on who becomes available, right, in the trade market. Like Phoenix, does the owner, Matt Ishbia, say, hey, I'm committed to Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, I'm going to make it work? Or does he listen to trade offers on any of those guys, whether it's Booker or Durant? And so you look at that situation. There are different situations around the league where, you know, a player who you might covet could be available for the right price. And, you know, I think that's where the Knicks would be opportunistic, and that's where a Julius Randle would come into play because of his skill level, because of his salary. If you need to match big salaries, he's got the salary to do it. I don't think he's off limits. I really don't think anybody would be off limits outside of Jalen Brunson in a trade for the right player. You know, so that's the case with Randle, and that's the case up and down the roster, again, outside of Brunson.
All right, we saw a couple free agent guys that played really well that are going to be free agents. One they acquired from Toronto before he got hurt, OG Anunoby. The other one, Isaiah Hartenstein. Do you expect both of those players to be back this next year, Ian?
I do. With the CBA collective bargaining agreement, the Knicks have early bird rights on Hartenstein, so they can only go to a certain level per year. And a certain length in the contract. So other suitors could come in at a higher number, and I'm sure Hartenstein will have suitors on the open market. But just, you know, kind of being around a lot, I would expect that if all things are equal, he wants to come back here, or even if he has to, you know, take a little less than another team's offering, he'd want to come back here because, you know, this was a place where he really took his game to the next level. OG Anunoby, you're not making the trade that you make trading R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel quickly for a player who you're going to let walk in the offseason. So unless things go totally off the rails in negotiations, I would expect the Knicks to bring OG Anunoby back as well. But, you know, look, there are teams out there with space. I'm looking particularly at the Philadelphia 76ers. If they cannot get their top targets in terms of wings, I could see them making a strong offer to Anunoby just to force the Knicks' hand, to force them to match bigger money than maybe they might be comfortable doing. But at the end of the day, they would match it and they would bring him back. So those are the things that I'm kind of keeping an eye on with those two free agents.
Yeah, there was praise thrown all around about Leon Rose and the moves that he made throughout, you know, the trade deadline and everything else. There's some big names that are being floated around. Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, Paul George. Do you think Leon Rose is aggressive this time trying to get another superstar?
Yeah, I think that, you know, they've been aggressive. Going back to Donovan Mitchell a couple of summers ago, they were aggressive there when they felt that it was a good fit. And so if they see someone as a really good fit, I think they'd be aggressive. Just noting on Donovan Mitchell in particular, I don't think they'd be as aggressive on Mitchell as they were a couple summers ago. You know, back then, you know, they really felt that he was a strong fit. now. I just think the will or the desire is not as high as it once was. Not saying they wouldn't have interest. I just don't think they'd be as aggressive. So that's just worth noting. On Paul George, I think the Sixers are going to come with a strong offer, but it's going to come down to who wants to give him that 4th year. The Clippers have not wanted to do it to date. Maybe the Sixers do. Would the Knicks? I think the Knicks would only go after Paul George if things went sideways with Anunoby. But maybe I'm incorrect there. Maybe they would kick the tires on George regardless.
Ian, it's sad to see the Knicks season comes to an end, but as we talked a little bit earlier this afternoon, more family time for Ian Begley, right?
Amen to that.
There you go.
My wife and my father-in-law, Knicks fans, so they were conflicted. They wanted to see the Knicks win, but they also wanted the house to be back in good order. So
there you go. Well, I'm glad that family's happy. Ian, you're great. We appreciate the time tonight. Thanks for cutting it out for us.
Anytime, fellas. Take care.